In life, we encounter people every day, all of whom have stories to share. We rarely take the time to ask people their personal stories, many of which will touch, move, and inspire us in some way. Matt has a passion for making authentic connections and learning about people from all walks of life. He has lived a life of giving back to the community and making a difference in people's lives. Are you ready to meet fascinating people and hear some inspiring stories? The Matt Hilton Show will introduce you to a world of possibilities you never knew existed. Sit back, be present, and enjoy. Here's your host, Matt Hilton.
Hi everyone, Matt Hilton here, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thanks for tuning in. Today's guest is a friend of mine, and I've visited with her several times in her house, and she's 93 years young, and I wanted her to share a part of her story with you today. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss this episode. Now for a word from our sponsor.
Inspired, experienced, customer-focused. Find a mortgage that fits your needs with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage, specializing in construction and closing all types of loans, including jumbo, portfolio, conventional, FHA, and VA. A tenured team, outstanding service, competitive programs. Finance your dreams with Maria Leach at First United Bank Mortgage. mleach.firstunitedteam.com, 214-316-7915. mleach at firstunitedbank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi everyone, this is Matt Hilton, the host of the Matt Hilton Show. Thanks for tuning in today. Today's guest is I'd say she's a friend of mine. I'm practically part of the family, I feel like. Her name is Dolly Ernestine Tate, and she is here to tell us about her 93 years plus of life here on this earth. And in the audience today, we have some of her family with us. And Granny Tate, thank you for being here.
Good to be here.
Yes, ma'am.
I can see that right now.
Fantastic.
Yes, yeah.
And we're surrounded by a lot of stuff that you have created over the years. And we'll get to that in just a minute. For those of you that are able to watch and view this episode, you'll see some creations of Granny Tate. And I'm calling her Granny Tate because
That's good.
I feel like that she's, like I said, part of the family.
Yeah.
So
I've
there we
accepted
go.
him.
She's accepted me. There we go. And I have spoken with her in her house a couple of times, and I wanted to share with you, my audience, some of the stories that she shared with me. And so let's go back to where you grew up.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Nacogdoches County, Texas.
Nacogdoches County.
Right.
Near a certain body of water?
Angelina River. I was raised on Angelina River. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what did your family do?
Farms, sawmills, all kind of mills.
Okay.
We did. Yeah.
All right. So what is your fondest memory of being a child growing up amongst, the farmers and the sawmills?
Well, I helped the grandmas and grandpas a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do grandpa's head with lemon, rub lemon in his hair for him. He loved it.
And what would that do?
Well, it kept dandruff and everything off of his scalp.
Okay.
Yeah, and I helped Grandma churn the milk and helped her in the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you churned the milk into some butter.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
When was the last time you did that, Granny Tate?
Well, it's been a long time.
Long time.
Oh, God, that's been 100 years ago. Yes. But anyway, that's what I grew up with two good, grandmas and grandpas. Yes.
Okay, so everybody lived together.
Well, we had 150 acres of land that we all lived on.
Okay.
Everybody, we lived on that river. It ran through two grandpas' places. They had 150 acres each of land. Okay. And we swam, church baptized. Mm-hmm. We used that river for a lot of stuff.
I'm sure you
Neat.
did. A lot of fishing going on too?
Oh my goodness, yes. A lot of alligators.
Oh, yeah?
Right. Yeah, it was something else, I'll tell you.
For sure. So when is your birthday?
June the 30th, 1929.
June the 30th of 29.
Yeah.
So we had talked about you growing up soon after the Depression.
That's right. I remember that well.
So what was that like?
Wasn't good. I wore the clothes that came from the places where they gave them away to the poor people. We were considered poor people. My grandpas had businesses. One of them had sawmills of all kinds of sawmills, and I got to help work in those sawmills. Not a lot.
So what did you do in those sawmills?
Well, I stacked the lumber, helped stack lumber. The shingle mills the kids could help with that. See, they were small. The shingles were small.
Okay.
And stacked lumber and whatever I was big enough to do, we did it. Yeah. And I rode the carriage while Daddy turned the big trees that they made the plank out of. Yeah, I rode the carriage with him when I was little in a little rocking chair.
In a rocking chair on the carriage?
Little chair on the carriage, yes, I did.
That's a sight.
Yeah,
I can only imagine what that would look like.
Yeah. It was interesting. When I look back on it, it was interesting what my life was. I mean, had a lot of kids and a lot of work, and everybody worked.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand you pick cotton too.
I picked 200 pounds of cotton a day, yes, when I was a teenager.
How do you pick 200 pounds of cotton a day?
Well,
Like,
you
what is
get
that?
out there and do it. You just whip the daylights out of it. I mean, it's up to you.
Okay, did y'all hear that? The way you pick 200 pounds of cotton a day is you just do it.
You do it. It's up to you.
Okay.
Of course, I picked a lot of cotton. I did in it. And we had a ball in the field. We could sing and visit and whatever. There would be numerous people picking cotton.
So it wasn't just your family picking the cotton. It was a lot of people.
The neighbors, a lot of the neighbors.
Was there one person that owned the land, I'm assuming,
Well,
where the cotton was?
Well, there were several owners of land in the country, and we would pick for several different ones
Okay.
during the period of cotton picking time. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you sang while you were picking cotton.
We did.
Is that
We
where
sang, yeah.
Is that where you learned to sing, or?
Yeah, well, I guess part of it, yes. Yeah. I learned to sing when I was little tiny. We'd have shows like on Friday night in the neighborhood, and they'd put me out on the floor, and I danced when I was 2 and 3 years old. I would dance for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you started to sing.
Oh, yeah. When I got old enough to sing, I did.
Is there a certain type of music that you like to sing more than others?
Well, they was like gospel. There's a lot of gospel. Okay. And I learned the gospel, to sing the gospel in the church. I sung in church.
Okay.
And, well, it's just, a lot of places, there's something going on all the time in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Yes, that's right. I'm telling you.
Fantastic. So you said that you sang in church too.
Oh, yeah.
So what type of church did you attend growing up?
Well, a lot of them, because everybody went to my Baptist, Pentecost, and you name it. And people got together and they we just done our stuff together, really, in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Fun.
So one of the questions I asked you at your house that I found interesting is, back when you were growing up, we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah, no, we
didn't.
didn't.
I mean, you had some sort of communication between houses or to get to the doctor or whatever you needed, right?
Yeah.
So I asked you a question, and I loved your response. So if you were traveling from your house to go into town, and your car broke down, and there wasn't another house for miles and miles, what would you do?
What would I do?
What would you do if something happened like that back when you grew up?
Well, I would start walking.
Start walking?
Walking. That's exactly what.
And you told me that people would typically stop by and offer help as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There wasn't very many cars, and there's mostly wagons and you know, trucks and wagons. That's right. That's what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amongst us is a lot of things that you have created here. We have a vase that is painted over there, and it's a beautiful vase. Did
Thank
you
you.
make the vase as well? Or did you?
No, I didn't make that vase. I
Okay,
bought
you
it.
painted it.
I
Okay.
painted it.
All right.
Blank white.
All right. And
Yeah.
then just below that vase, tell us about doll creation. How did you create that doll?
Well, I had the molds. I bought molds. I've got molds right now and all kinds of molds. I made dolls. I've got a room. Well, you saw the dolls. I got a room full of dolls that I
Yeah.
made. Yeah.
So I asked you to bring your favorite doll today. Why is that doll one of your favorites?
He's a little boy.
Little boy.
I like little boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Well, he is a cutie.
Yeah.
What is the hair made out of?
It's from an old wig.
Okay.
A wig.
Just from an old wig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you make the clothes as well, or did you
I made
buy
the clothes.
those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I made the clothes.
Yeah. And when I was setting that up today, it is ceramic. Like
Yeah.
it's heavy.
Yes, it is.
The legs, move on their own, so it's a well-made doll.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot of them. You saw
yes,
it.
yes,
you
ma'am.
Saw
I saw a whole
Yeah.
room of them on
Yeah.
a lot of shelves.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Some of them were kind of scary looking too.
I know it. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're supposed to be.
I know they are. Yeah.
It makes it more interesting when you get one of a lot of kinds, different kinds.
For sure. And I saw a lot of different kinds of dolls.
You did.
Where did you get your inspiration for making the dolls?
Well, it was just something that I liked. I collected antique dolls. That was mainly, some of those are antiques,
Okay.
but a lot of them's what I've made. Well, it was a thing that we just did. The old ladies, several old ladies around, and that's what we did.
So you
and
started-
I sold them. I took them to markets.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Okay.
went to the markets with them a lot.
So these dolls are potentially in people's houses that are watching
Yes,
the show today.
all over, everywhere,
Yeah.
forever. Because I traveled with them and set up with them in the flea markets in a lot of different places. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been in some shows, done shows in different little towns down in East Texas. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, it's been a lot of work, but I loved it.
Yes, ma'am.
Met
Yes,
a lot
ma'am.
of good people.
You're definitely a creative because we have this plate that you've painted as well.
Yeah, right.
And it has some roses on it.
Yeah.
I hear that's your favorite. Your favorite flower is a rose. Is that
That's
correct?
right, red roses. And I've got a song I'm singing all the time.
Red roses.
Yeah,
And that's what that is over there beside you, are some red roses on one of those
That's right.
shelves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, red roses are
Yeah.
all around you.
yes,
And did you have red roses growing up? Is it something that you?
yes. I always have red roses.
Yeah,
It's my favorite.
your favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
roses, red roses are my favorites. But I've had a lot of different kinds of flowers in my yards everywhere I live.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you said that you wrote a song called Red Roses.
I did, and I sing it a lot.
So you still sing it.
Yes, I sing
So
it.
what did you write this song? Who did you write the song for? What was the background behind the song?
Well, it's just a love song.
A love song.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Was it for someone
You
in
want
particular?
me to sing it? You want me to sing it?
Well, was it for somebody in particular? Or
Well,
was
it
it
could
just
have
a
been
generic love song?
my husband.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
my husband.
Yeah. So yes, to answer your question, I'd love
Yes.
for you to sing it.
All right. Red roses to say that I love you. Oh, red roses say I need you. Red roses tell a story, oh, a story that's never been told. Red roses bloom in the springtime. Red roses bloom in the fall. Red roses say that I need you, and I love you most of all. Oh, that I love you most of all, most of all.
That's fantastic. Y'all give her a round of applause.
I'm telling you.
That's awesome. Thank you for doing
Yes,
that.
yes.
And do you sing that currently when you, because I understand you go and you sing at different places around the Hearst, Euless, Bedford area.
All over, yes.
Yeah. And
Yes,
you still
I
sing that song?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
It's
I've seen
one
some
of-
videos of you dancing around too, so I know you get up and dance
Well,
too.
I've danced a lot. Yes, I have.
Do you
Yes,
have a favorite style of dance? Do you
Not
like to
the-
ballroom dance, country
well,
dance?
I like it all.
You like it all?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just according to what the need is at the time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Needs to have a good beat.
Yeah, I gotta have a good beat. That's
Right.
it. That's the main thing. Yeah, yeah.
Fantastic.
But that's in music. You gotta be on. I got a song that's floating around right now by a guy that's travels the whole world, and he's singing it, and I'm harmonizing with him
You
on
are?
it, and it's and he's big in music.
Okay. Is
Yeah.
it a song you wrote?
No.
Okay, so you're harmonizing
the
with
Milk Cow Blues. It's an old country western out of Fort Worth.
Okay.
Yeah. And he sang, I yodel. I yodel too. I yodel.
And what's the
behind
name
him.
of that song?
The Milk Cow Blues.
Milk Cow Blues.
Yeah,
Okay. So I'm
yeah.
going to ask you towards the end of the show to maybe sing that one. I'd love to hear you yodel. All right. But I'll do that in a little bit.
Oh my God.
So this
Yeah.
painting. Tell me about this painting.
That's supposed to be me when I was young.
Supposed to be
It
you when
is.
you were
That's
young.
me when
That
I was
is you.
young. Yeah.
Okay.
My eyes were not blue, but I like blue eyes. I put blue eyes on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just painted her like I like for her to be, and and whatever. But that was me when I was younger.
When you look at that, what do you see? What memories come to mind when you look at that?
A lot of the old memories back when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't do the artwork until after I married. The kids were little.
Okay.
And I got into it, and I loved it.
Well, I'm going to give you, I will tell you, to paint a person's face, I'm not an artist, but to do that is one of the hardest things from what I hear.
That it is. I
It's
know.
one of the
I'll
hardest
tell
things
you.
to do.
It is. It's a #1 top deal in art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you learn to do that?
Well, mainly I had some lessons, but it's up to you. You have to work on it till you get it. It's just a gift thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have the talent and the gift,
Yep.
right?
And you have to pray a lot.
And
That's right.
did you have to pray a lot while you were creating that?
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it comes from. You know that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. But anyway, I've painted several portraits, and I've got art all over the country that they bought from me out. I sold a lot out, do a batch up and carry it out and sell it, and yeah. I've got art all over the country. Yeah.
And you've made some jewelry too.
Are you kidding? Pick up and haul off the jewelry at my house.
Yep.
Parts. And there's a lot of it still. And I've got a lot done, and I don't know. And I was going to tell you that sometime when you over, we'll pick you out. I see you like jewelry, and I've got some stuff you
Yeah, I wear
probably
some
like.
jewelry.
We'll pick you out some goody jewelry. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've done a lot of jewelry.
Yeah.
Uh,
So when did you pick that up in
And
life?
I'm a certified gemologist
You are?
too. Yes.
Okay.
I did that.
Granny Tate, what have you not done?
Well, I'm not. I've tried everything under the sun, nearly, I guess, you know. I've done a lot.
And where do you think that comes from? Were your parents like that?
Yes.
Or is there some? Okay.
Yeah. I did. I had good bringing up, and everybody was smart, really. I mean, and worked hard, and anyway, life was something else.
Yeah.
It was good. And I liked a good time. Well, I grew up in the country with poor kids. We were all poor. Now, I'm telling you.
And how many kids were in your family?
There was 5, and one was, my mother had 5 children. The first one was born dead.
Okay.
She had it at home and couldn't have it and passed away, you know. It was hard. But, and my 2 brothers and sister are gone, and we were all talented and done a lot of stuff, you know. We just worked hard, worked the fields. We picked cotton, raised corn galore, all these. We had to do that to survive.
Yeah.
And we did it.
Did you have any livestock on that farm?
God, oh yes, a lot of livestock.
What's your favorite farm animal?
Well, I used to milk the cow before I went to school in the morning.
Okay.
I did. I milked the milk cow. That's for the home feeding, to cook with and everything. Yeah. Yeah. I sure did. It's kind of rough when it was snowing and raining.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did it anyway. And we had all kind of animals. Chickens galore, you know, well, what goes with the farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had everything.
You had
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But the milk cow was your favorite.
Yeah, I like the old milk cow. She is pretty. Keep her from kicking the bucket over. Yeah.
Did that happen several times?
Yeah, well, it could happen, and it did some, not often.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we raised everything in the world to eat nearly, and
Yeah.
I learned to help butcher and I'll do all that stuff. You know, I learned a little bit of everything that was going on that place. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And you've passed on as well as you could those qualities and,
Yes.
and attributes to your
Yes.
children.
Yes. My children have all been good, and yes.
And how many children do you have?
3.
3.
Yeah. 2 boys and Tina.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Fantastic.
thank God they all own their own business and done well.
Yep.
Thank goodness. Yeah.
And you have some grandkids.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I got some sitting right out here right
some of them
now.
are sitting out there
And
right
they're
now.
the same. They're growing up the same. I think, yes. I mean,
And great
kid.
grandkids.
I've got great grandkids.
You got
And
one
I
of them
have,
out there too, don't you?
but let me tell you, and I'm going to tell you this.
Okay.
It's a sad thing. My son, my oldest son, is married, and they have 2 girls. And now they're married and they have children. Well, one of them doesn't have any children, but she's married, and she's big in a lot of stuff that goes on. Her jobs are wealthy jobs with wealthy people, yeah. And I haven't seen them. I haven't been allowed to see them since they were little tiny girls. I don't see them. Their mother didn't like me, so she stopped. And they've got children. And the little bit I've seen has been on Facebook, you know, and I don't know them. Haven't seen the two girls since they were 4 and 5.
Okay.
And they've got grown kids now.
Yeah.
So it's been a sad thing there.
Well, I think I'm sorry to hear that, and
Well,
I know
I know it.
that is sad for you.
Yeah, it is, but it happens to a lot of people, I find.
Yeah.
It's not everybody but both sons are disabled veterans now. They went to, they were in the service.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway,
So I understand you were married to 3 veterans.
that's right.
Yep.
Yes, I was. Yes.
And where'd you meet your first husband?
Oh, in school.
In school.
Yeah.
Okay, like high school.
Yeah.
Yeah?
In high school, yeah.
Okay.
And he was a neighbor, a guy that grew up in a little neighborhood that joined our neighborhood. And, you know, yeah, my kid's daddy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were y'all married?
We separated.
Okay.
We separated. We had problems.
Okay.
And he moved. And I had 3 children by him, with Tina and Bob and the ones here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was widowed for a while, and I found one of the best guys. Had never been married. He was a disabled veteran. He went to the service, and he and I ended up married, and he's the one that built the house that I'm in Euless right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and was a good guy, but he was very disabled. He got shot in service.
Okay.
And but anyway, we did a lot of music. He was a musician, and we was traveling. And one morning, we had done music. We were getting up for the morning, and he got up and went to the restroom and come back, and we were laying there talking. It was time to get up, and I said something to him, and he said something back and didn't move. He was gone. Yeah. The other one was a musician, top musician, and we played music all over everywhere. And he was an elderly man and all, but he passed away then. He got sick and passed away. So I've been widowed ever since.
How long ago was that?
Oh goodness, it's been, I would say about 6 or 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been widowed, and I just mainly do music and do whatever, is necessary to do. That's, yeah.
So if the right man came along now, would you be interested in marrying again?
Well, I doubt that.
You doubt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm too old now. Yeah.
You're only as old as you think you are.
Well, I know it, but I would say that I would like to be younger to do that, but I don't.
Sure.
I don't think so. I mean, it's too many. I'm too set in my ways, and I can go and come whenever I get ready. I could. I don't drive anymore.
Right.
But then I have a lot of friends that pick me up, and for music, I have people that, friends and neighbors that I don't have to worry about getting around to do music.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
So tell me about you. Before the show, you were telling me about your trip to England.
yeah, that was a goodie.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
said that you have some heritage from Wales.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So what happened on that trip to England? What was the purpose of you going? Was it just
Well,
for fun?
my neighbors and friends worked for the airlines, and they decided they wanted me to go with them, and I had a chance, so I went with them, and it was a fun trip. We had a little over a week there,
Okay.
and what we done, we flew into England, and we just rented a car and drove everywhere and irritated the old men at England because women weren't supposed to be driving. You know? They'd fuss at us. We'd be out in the park, just doing what we do, picnicking and whatever, and they didn't. The men didn't like that. Women out didn't have no business out. It was weird. Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow.
Did you get to go to the Queen's Palace?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went into, they had a bookstore there, and I went in to just browse around and see what, and got to talking to the lady that run this store, and she wanted, we kind of got acquainted, and she was going to take me in to see the prince. Yeah, but my friends was ready to leave, so I didn't get to go see her.
But your friends didn't want to go.
No, they were out doing other stuff. They just come by to pick me up. They put me out there. I wanted to go in. They had a clock I was looking at, and they had a store type thing in there, that I was interested in, and so anyway, and then we just traveled all over around and went to several of the countries that butted up to England. And I had I got to go out. We'd stop on our trips from one state to another, and they had a lot of places where you could walk out on piers, and we did that a lot, just stop and walk,
Yeah.
Anyway, and I had my aunt's husband did World War II, and he got shot down in the there at England in that the water there. He was out on in a boat, and they never did find him. And I got to walk out on the pier where he went down. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, the White Cliffs of Dover. That's where it was,
okay.
And that White Cliffs of Dover wasn't what I thought it was. It was just a bank of white, just white sand and dirt. No, it wasn't.
Wasn't too impressive,
Yeah,
huh?
that's right. Yes, I'm telling you,
Well, you've lived a long life,
I have.
and a lot of events have happened.
I have.
Is there an event that stands out in your mind that is a memorable one? What is the most memorable event that has happened during your lifetime that you remember exactly the place that you were and when it happened?
There's a lot of standout. I'm telling you, in my life, it has been. Yeah, mainly music's been one of my main things.
Okay.
All over.
What
Everywhere I
instruments
go.
do you play?
Well, I fiddle with 5, and I have a collection of musical instruments too.
Okay.
Yeah. I mainly play the rhythm guitar with the bands.
The rhythm guitar.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do backup, we call it. And I've played the fiddle a little, stand-up bass, and I, fiddle with several.
Yeah.
piano, pick a little out on it. And I've got all those. I have a collection of instruments. It's some goodies in it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of instruments, yeah.
So where do you perform? When you do sing, where does that happen?
And Hearst and Euless, Bedford, and Grapevine.
Okay.
Different places.
Different
Different
places?
Yeah. I
Is,
do all over. I've done.
do you have an
all over.
upcoming show that you're preparing for, or do you just go when you feel like it?
Well, I went last night.
You did?
I did music last night. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I did. Yeah, and I'll go probably. Well, we have 5 shows that I do. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah. In this area, sometimes we travel a little far out, but mainly it's in my area there. Yeah. So
Okay.
I've played with a lot of musicians all over everywhere. It's been fun. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask the audience if they have any questions at this point. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions? If you do, come up to the mic and ask.
My name's Caitlin. I'm Granny Tate's great-granddaughter, and I just wanted to know why her favorite color is red.
It always has been. Because it's loud.
It's loud.
Okay, it's loud. I
It-
like it.
It makes a statement, right?
Yeah, it does.
Where were you when Pearl Harbor was bombed?
Oh, I was at home. I was a young kid. And I was home, and I remember because we lived under the flight pattern from Shreveport to where they flew across and loaded up to take the bombs across for the war. And sometimes they nearly scraped the top of the houses when they flew by. They just zipped through. And it was kind of a sight to be under, yeah.
What did the family do when they heard?
Well, there was nothing you could do except listen to the radio and just see what was, going on. I mean, and of course they would
Because you didn't have a
draft the-
television, I guess, at the time, did you?
I didn't know television.
No television.
Yeah.
So you just heard
radio,
this over the
mainly
radio.
was all the communication was back then. Yeah, about in the country anyway. Wasn't like it is today. Of course, it was hard to. Sometimes you could pick it up, and sometimes you couldn't.
Yeah.
They had to put a wire, big poles outside with wire area, they called them. It was wires that they hooked to, that picked up the sound for the TV or the radios or whatever it was hooked to. Yeah, yeah. Mainly, a lot of the radios they had hooked to that, and it picked up the music. See it. The things they had back then, the radios and all, they didn't pick up unless they were hooked up to some main lines that were up outside that picked it up.
Yeah. Does anybody else have a question? Okay. Well, Granny Tate, you had mentioned that you yodel. Would you? I like the nervous laugh.
Well,
Yeah. You think you have some yodel in you today?
well, let me see. What can I?
And feel free to stand if you need to or whatever.
No, I won't.
Okay.
Well, I'll do that little bit of the milk cow.
Okay.
Well, I woke up this morning. I look out the door. I can tell my milk cow, I can tell by the way she lows. Oh, if you see my milk cow, please drive her on home. Ain't had no milk and butter since this old cow's been gone, Lord. A yodel lady, hey, yolo, hey, a lady, oh, oh,
That's fantastic.
Done it a jillion times.
You love to sing, don't you?
Yeah, I
What
do.
does singing do for you?
Oh, it keeps me alive.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I've been doing it a long time and a lot. In fact, I got that song that's traveling right now with this guy,
Right.
and he travels all over the world, and he'll do that song everywhere he goes. So I don't know what he'll do.
So
Yeah.
you said singing keeps you alive.
That's
What
good.
what is
Keeps your spirit up.
keep your spirit up?
It does mine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you do? Is there anything in your routine that you love doing that keeps you young at heart?
Well, just several things. Yeah.
Well, tell us about
Yeah,
those.
well, I love yard work and raising flowers, but I don't get to do it anymore because I'm too old. But I've done a lot of that,
Okay.
and I've always had pretty yards and flowers. I love flowers,
Okay.
and I've sewed around the world. I've got 100 quilts stored that I need to get rid of. Good quilts that I collected, and I used to quilt. I like quilting.
Okay.
Needlework. I've sewed around the world. I've made a lot of stuff out of sewing machines, wore out sewing machines. I've sewed a lot. Of course, I don't do it anymore. And I've pretty well done a lot of stuff. Helped the family a lot.
So if you had your great grandkids sitting here this afternoon and you could tell them a life lesson that they need to know, what would that be?
Be honest. Be honest. And don't be fakey, be honest and good and kind to your people. And we all need to go to church. Everybody needs to go to church and live that.
So just not go, but live.
Live, and that's right. And if you don't go, you can live it. Yes. That's one of the main things with me. I mean, it's kind and good and to your buddies.
That's
And
right.
you have a lot of friends, and I do have a lot of friends all over. Thank God.
For sure.
Thank good.
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's right.
So I'm going to ask you a few more questions as we wrap up here today.
Okay.
And I'm very interested to see what your answers are. So as I have been throughout this entire interview today.
Yeah.
I'm the Chief Happiness Officer of a nonprofit.
Yeah.
It's called Who Do You Know? And we focus on inspiring imagination and granting dreams
That's right.
of people
Yeah.
from all walks of life.
Yes. Yes.
And we make connections by doing that.
Yeah.
So is there a place in the world that you would like to go?
I think I'm happy here. Now I got to go to places that I would already. Yeah. Yeah. I liked England. England was a good,
Yeah.
kind place to be. Yeah. And anyway, that's probably, if I went anywhere, I'd go back to England. Yeah.
And is there something that you would like to do that you haven't done yet?
I just like life,
Yeah.
for one thing, life. And to do like what I'm doing now, you know, I like music, musicians, and all kind of musical instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You've
do.
lived a full life.
Yeah.
No
I have.
regrets.
Not that I know. I've tried not to.
Yeah.
And And I've been healed from the good Lord twice in my life, from death nearly until I have.
No, do you want to share any more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was little, I ate a berry. It was very poisonous. And they called the doctor in. Back then, they called the doctors into the homes. Mm-hmm. And the doctor came to take care of me. And they didn't know what was wrong with me. And anyway, they called the elders of the church in. And I remember this. I mean, I was about 2 years old. And they called the elders in and they prayed over me. And the next day I was well. I mean, I was well. Mm-hmm. Playing in the yard. Yeah. And I've had I'll say 3 years ago, I had COVID. And I was bad. I was in the hospital. And, or they said I was. Well, Tina and Bobby remembers this because what happened, the doctor came in, and the top doctor came in. I was in a little room they had in the hospital. I was one of the first ones had COVID. And they didn't know what to do with me. Anyway, he sat in there for a while and talked to me. And he got up to leave, and out of my mouth came, hey, if I'm in here tonight, I'll be gone in the morning. I'll tell you that. He called them, and they come got me. I was out of there in 30 minutes. Right, Bob? That's right. And I've been up, and you can't believe I went home. They took me home, and I went to bed, and I went to sleep. And when I got up, they went home, and I was okay. And everything, I got up, and everything in the house was glowing. I cannot explain to you what happened in that house. Everything was glowing. Mm-hmm. And I've been up and at them ever since. And that tells you something right there, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Your love
and I
life.
do know that it's there. It's there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yep. I was healed. I couldn't believe what was going on in that house. And all of a sudden, I thought, what? Well, then I knew what it was. It was, it cleared it out of that house. Yeah. Anyway,
What was it, Granny Tate?
Oh, it was the good Lord had come in there and helped me out of all that. And I know that. Right. And that's happened to me twice.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
You have some family here with you today. I know they love you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I love them dearly. They know it. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Well, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I can't believe this, really. I cannot believe it. Well, and I have a lot of friends that would have come, and some of them said it was a little far. There, a lot of elderly people, Yeah, to walk.
Right.
Yeah. But anyhow, I can't believe it happened.
Well,
I cannot.
I think you were a fascinating person.
Well, I hope so.
And you have spoken some words of inspiration today,
yes,
so thank you.
Yes, and I thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
This is a miracle. It's not a miracle, for sure.
And thank you for sharing
the
things that you've created, some of the things you've created with us. Yes, ma'am.
And I had a lot of help from the good Lord. Everything I've done, I know that. See, it's been a plus in my life. I tell you, it has. And I'm so glad to have met you. And it seems like I've known you forever.
Yeah. Well, much love and blessings to you.
Well, the same to you.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. And y'all, thank you for tuning in today. This is Matt Hilton signing off of the Matt Hilton Show. Tune in next week as we have another fascinating person with an inspiring story. Bye.
If you'd like to contact Matt or know a fascinating person with an inspiring story that would make a great guest, reach out to the show at themattHiltonshow@gmail.com.